The Clarendon Hill Apartments in West Somerville were built in 1948 and have since served as state-owned public housing for low-income Somerville residents. A plan for redevelopment of the nearly 70-year-old buildings has been underway since last year.
It started with the State Department of Housing and Community Development making it known to housing authorities, including the Somerville Housing Authority, that this opportunity was going to be available. And what the housing authorities were going to need to do was to think through whether they were interested and whether they had an opportunity to recruit a private development partner to work with them around the redevelopment of Clarendon, a project like Clarendon. And this was generally recognizing that a place like Clarendon is about 70 years old and it's pretty tired housing at this point. Basically for people. So that's how it started. We at the Somerville Community Corporation, we thought about it quite a bit and decided that we were interested in trying to be part of a team that would work with the Housing Authority on this. Alternatively, given who we are as an organization, we might be advocating simply for the tenants to make sure that they were done well by.
In order to protect their rights and interests, the residents of Clarendon Hill created a tenants union, Clarendon Residents United, so that they could have a voice in the redevelopment process. A community event on October 14th celebrated the victories Clarendon Residents United, or CRU, has achieved in this process, and drew attention to the various issues the tenants are still struggling with.
My name is Letitia Scott. I've been a resident here for almost 13 years. I'm the co-president of Clarendon Residents United. Because of the redevelopment, we had to convene very quickly last November of 2016. We created a tenants organization very quickly.
We're happy to see that because we wanted any project like this needs to work well with the residents there, and to have an organized group is actually helpful because otherwise you're trying to figure out who's who yourself as the developer.
The redevelopment plan has raised a lot of concerns among tenants, who will need to be relocated once the plan gets underway. CRU has met with developers several times over the past year to negotiate on the plan.
We've had about 5 meetings with them. We go over like traffic and parking and the plans and needs for the tenants. You know, like they wanted to make sure they stayed in Somerville. They wanted to keep their kids in the school. We want to make sure this land stays with the Somerville Housing Authority, that it doesn't become privatized, because that can create whole other issues, and our relocation plan could go right out the window. One of the issues we faced was at first we weren't sure if they're going to bring back all low-income housing. Like there's 216 here, we weren't sure if they're going to bring it back. They agreed to do that. A lot of people were worried, and I think the biggest thing is, where am I going to move to? When am I going to move? Like it's the number one question, and we know that like rental property is very scarce here in Somerville, and we have about 200 families that need to be moved.
We are committed to doing everything we possibly can to keep every household who wants to stay in Somerville. What we can't do, because we literally can't do, is if we can't find a unit, we can't guarantee that somebody can be in Somerville if we literally can't find an apartment. And as anybody who's in Somerville right now knows, this is a tough marketplace.
I really want to have new apartments. These apartments really they need a lot of work, and it's too expensive. Even housing has said it's too expensive to keep up these old buildings, you know?
So every year, supposedly we have state inspections, and we always pass. How? I don't know. It's crazy. But the point is, we pass inspection, and we still have hallways that look like this. All of the staircases in the buildings are deteriorating just the same way that these are. It's terrible. Pretty much every building looks like this. They only clean to the first floor. They don't go past the first floor when they do the hallways. Residents have been doing the hallways themselves for years, and not knowing that they had the right to deduct it from their rent. Like, that's crazy.
I put in a work order for this cabinet about 3 months ago, and no one has still came to fix it. When I first put it in, it was just the bottom screws that fell off, so it was hanging. But just recently, the whole thing came off. So that doesn't make any sense. 3 months ago, and nobody came to fix it or anything. We have no access to get in there, so when they turn on the heat in the winter, We smell all that paint that they painted over the dirt. They didn't clean it over. They didn't take out the dust. They just painted it over.
That's for years.
Yeah.
They don't do regular cleaning of the heating systems.
And there should be a protection thing on this, so the hot water, this pipe gets hot when it turns on, so it doesn't burn anyone. And they haven't came and put a cover over that since I've lived here.
By Massachusetts state law, residences built before 1978 that have children under 6 living in them must be inspected for lead hazards, which, if found, must be dealt with by the owner of the building.
All of this stuff that's chipping, the green paint end of it, that's supposedly not the lead in.
It's suspicious. We wouldn't think anything otherwise, but the fact that our inspection reports this year all say that we have no children living in these buildings under the age of 6 disturbs me. It's just, this place is not somewhere you want to live, and nobody talks about it, and nobody wants to see it. I mean, we're supposed to be getting new buildings, which is great. Everybody knows that we need them. We know that we need them, but it's taking forever, and it's even more stressful to have to wait and not know. You know, there's so much unknowns, and having still live here, it messes with you.
It's been very overwhelming, especially for me and Jessica. You know, we've done a lot of work. I really hope that we can get the development underway very soon in the next year. You know, we've been waiting and waiting. So I know it's a lot of people have to come together to make it happen. So it's been a lot. There's stuff I've done I never thought I would do. So.
The project organizers, the Somerville Community Corporation, the Preservation of Affordable Housing in Boston, and Gate Residential, hope to begin the relocation process by summer of 2018.
Our current hope and plan is next summer. We feel the summer is really important because there's a lot of kids there, and we want to be able to do the relocation while the kids are out of school so the families and the kids can get settled in the summer and either go to a different school if that's what they choose to do based on their location, or they can go to the same school, and through our project budget, we'd be paying for the transportation costs. We're really excited to be doing this. We think, we thought it was the right thing to do when we decided to get into it, and it's not easy. But at the end of the day, 216 public housing households are going to have brand new places to live, and that was the goal from day one.
I love Somerville. I love our community. I hope this development goes as the way we would like for it to go, with everybody coming back and being an even greater and better community than it is now, because we'll have a bigger, better community space and more stuff for our kids here and for the elderly, for everybody here, and that's what we're truly striving for and trying to do now with this event, you see. So yeah, I hope it comes together nicely.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, this is Laura Broman.